Great. Welcome back. Now let's add some extra features. May I know if there is all the teachers are from middle and high, or still we have anyone from the lower secondary, so that I can take their examples and something so that it's relevant. I know it's just the understanding of the way how you can use the tools, then you can manipulate and change accordingly. Okay, no problem. I'll try to consider some examples. Or meanwhile, can you write a question for me, which I can create here? That would be great. Okay, so I'm on a fresh page right now, and I'm gonna use the simple tool which is called Note. Note is used to write instructions or write your questions for your students. Okay, I got one question. No, don't get it. Sorry. So here we can write any question. Any question, guys? Anything you would like to add? What sort of question? Like a statement? Okay, let me just create a question where students are going to enter the expression or choose some expressions from the word problem, or they can just simply solve and you can check it. Let's say, okay, let me use the maths thing so that I can use actual math symbols. Okay. So I'm going to use very simple question. Let's say 3x plus 7 equals to 22. So solve for x. This is my question. I can write in the title as well, but I'm just using here so that I can type nicely. Right? Even you can write x here. Look. So it's better. So it gives the students feel of real maths question, not just typing on a Word document without using equation. Okay, so I have a question now, but how to ask a student to enter their responses? So there are two options: text, math, or multiple choice. We already discussed. Graphs, table also. Yeah, table is another one, which is a good tool, but I'll just explain you after that. Right now, I'm going to use math input. And I'm just going to see the preview. Look, students have this option to enter whatever they want. And everything will be in math. Like, let me show you the difference. If I don't add this, and I add the text input, what is the difference? If you add the text input, they have the option of uploading images using type math tool. Otherwise, they can just type simple. Let's say I'm just typing my name. Look, but if I type my name in this, it will look. Hello. Okay, so that's the difference in these two. Let me just delete it. Now it's up to you which one you want to use. Now I'll recommend, if you are using the assessment, I will recommend you guys to use the table tool and use the math input tool. You can arrange them. Right here, you can ask them, let me delete one column. I'll show only one column, working steps. Working steps. My spellings are wrong. Working steps. Here they can use working steps, and here they will enter the answer. Look, now the question will look like this, because we have added three components. Number one, note to write the equation or instructions. Number two, we have used the table so that students can actually use these things to enter their working steps. Last one is math answer box, where a student is gonna enter only the number. So, okay, let's say a student is just typing here. Steps Whenever student is going to enter, you are going to see the steps immediately. It's a always run time. As soon as your student is typing something, you will definitely be able to see your student's response. And you can ask that particular student, hey, what are you typing this? Change the variable or move the step, or you will have option to send feedback as I have shown you previously. Let's say you are on the student's page, you will have this option to send the feedback. Keep sending feedback based on their responses, whatever they're typing. So I'm just assuming students are going to enter the steps like this, and then you can give more things, right? 25, 22 minus 7. And here, let's say students are entering 3x equals to 15. Now student will know, okay, x equals to 15 divided by 3, right? And so the answer is 5. So they will just sum it. Of course, in few cases, you have to be very careful when you are giving instructions to your student. Maybe they are not going to use this part for to enter the answer. To avoid that, I have one idea that what you can do, always add a note. Add a note just before the math answer box. You can drag them up and down, don't worry. And here you write, enter the final answer below. Now look how it will look like. It makes more sense, right? Here they are writing working steps, and here they are entering the answer, because here is the submit button. So this is important. This is required, like a star, right? You can't just skip it. So let's do this. If a student is entering x equal to 5, wrong answer or right answer, right? There is nothing happening on the dot, because that's where you are going to judge a student is correct or not. Look, this dot, this is cross, and this is tick. Right now we are at this stage, dot, but we have to go to tick or cross. If you want to make your activity as a self-assessment or a formative assessment, or getting things auto-corrected, right? So for that, there is a very simple trick which I'm going to share with you. So please maybe note down somewhere. Of course, you can see the recording later on. So look, let me just take you through back. I have used note to use the question. Then I'm using the table. This is optional, of course. You can write that even in your instructions. Working steps are optional, or working steps are compulsory. You can add more rows. Look. So you can add number of rows here. You can add one more column. You can instruct here. Let's say if it's a primary or lower secondary, right? You write down your steps, right? Let's say write down the equation, and next you write, because here students are going to write. Here your working instructions, you can write instructions here, and students are going to write their working steps here. Let me just write here instructions, so that it will make more sense to you or to your students. Let's say you are going to give hints, or you're just going to try to help out your students so that they understand what they are supposed to do. So let's say I'm writing here, write the equation. Okay, so look at this now. So the words are looking different. Write the equation here, right? And then next, separate the variables. I'm just writing a very simple example here. Separate the variables. Look, now it looks weird. Var is separate, iables is separate. This is happening because this will, by default, it will take math. You can always convert in the text. Look, it's converted into text. You just need to erase it. The dash is slash, sorry. Or you can just delete it and write down now. It will look like a proper text. Separate the variables. Right, now you see the preview. So here, they are not able to do anything here, because this is what you have written. Here, students have the options. So that's how you make your activity, you can say, more, you can customize them or you can make more interactive so that you can discuss with your students what you are typing or what you are asking. Okay, now this is done, the instruction part. How to check answer is correct or not. For that reason, I have to label my components. So this is my note. Okay. This is again the table, right? This is the note again. And this is the math input. This is important. Remember the instruction or the code with what I'm going to give you. It's important where it is important, where student is going to interact, right? So you are judging a student based on the response entered here, math answer box. So you have to go to here. If you scroll here, you will see edit computation layer step. Just click it. I know it's complicated. Don't worry. It's easy. You have to just use this command, correct. As soon as you type CO, it will appear there, correct. How it is correct? What is the condition to check the correctness? I'm going to use this. This means the name of the table. Sorry, the name of the input bar. You can label it. Let's say this is my question number 1. Okay, that's fine. Question 1. Right? I have labeled it with question 1. And now I'm going to go back to this. Now it turns green because I have added something. This means it's a warning sign. It's not complete yet. So I'm going to use the correct command, which is very simple to judge, to check with the correctness of the numerical value. Sorry. So I'm going to use Q1. Look, as soon as I type Q1, it is the defined thing already. I'll click it, dot. I'll just use dot to see what are the possibilities I have. So I have numerical value. I have submitted history, etc. So there are lots of things. But for us, today, these two are important, latex and numerical value. These two are important. So today, first I'm going to use numerical value because I'm going to enter a number. Numerical value equals to what? I think it was 5. That's it. That's it. You are done. Let me show you in a, I hope you can see now. Look at the code. Let me type it again for you. Delete it. Correct. What is the condition to check? Q1 dot numerical value should be 5. So if you don't enter anything, there is a warning sign, right? So if you have correct, so it's done. Let me read. Yeah, sure. Definitely. So Q1 dot numerical value equals to 5 and you are done. Let me go back to the original size of 100%. Now guys, look at the dashboard preview. There is still a problem, but I'll show you. So let's say you enter 3. It's a wrong answer, right? And teacher will see cross like these things, like this cross, because the answer is not correct. What if you type 5? You are not able to see the tick. You are able to see a dot. Now, it is your understanding how you are going to decide that you want to see a dot or tick. I know everybody would like to see a tick, right? So for that reason, there is one more thing what we have to look. We are technically interacting with 2 things here. Number 1, table. Number 2, the math in answer box. So Desmos is confused where to check the correctness. So for that, you go to the table part. If you don't add this, it's fine. If you add it, then you just need to use it like this. Read only. Read only true. Read only true means I'm not using table or my working steps to validate my answers. Rather, I'm using a math answer box to validate the answer. Now let's see what's going to happen. No matter what you type here. It's not a problem. But if you type a correct answer, you'll see a tick. See, very simple. I have prepared the tutorials based on each and every component separately. So I'm not asking you to go and watch them multiple times, but just in case if you are curious and you want to explore more about these things, yes, I will recommend definitely you go and watch those videos I have prepared, especially for with the title which says computational layer. This is called computational layer, right? And it's very simple. It's very simple. Okay, in the next, any question here before I go to the other part?
So may I ask a question, please?
Yeah, please.
Good evening. Good evening, sir. The explanation is extremely clear and very nice. I just had a small query. I don't know if I missed that one. Are you also able to manually check, like I'm used to LS form, so if there is any correction, can I also do it manually or is it everything happens by default?
Okay, good question. Technically, if you are marking it manually, then there is no option to see these things.
Right.
If you are entering manually, then you will be able to see as a dot or nothing, because you are not adding any coding part there. So
right.
it will look like the other questions we did, like the matching question. You remember?
Right.
Right.
Yes, sir.
You are
Yes.
just checking manually. You are not giving
Yes.
feedback immediately to your students.
Right.
Yeah. But here you are getting everything auto-corrected. You are not doing nothing. You just did while creating the activity, and while running the activity, you are doing nothing. Immediately you are getting to know who is correct, who is wrong. Yeah.
Right.
So this
Thank
coding,
you so much.
that the coding part is only for that purpose.
Right.
Auto correction.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's use a geometry tool and a question related to geometry. I know geometry is there in lower secondary and secondary. Okay, no problem. Anybody can think of a question related to geometry? Let's have a angle sum problem. Okay, I'm using an angle sum property or semicircle angle, something, whatever. You can also play with geometry tool if you want. Let's say draw a perpendicular bisector. This is not related to the tick or cross. This is to play with the geometrical tool available within the activity. So draw a perpendicular bisector of the given line. Let's just assume this question. You have this setting gear. Click on this. Click on the grid if you want to show. And now you can draw a line. Just click anywhere on 2 points. Right? And you see the preview. That's how your students are going to see this. Let me do one thing. Let's say you don't want to change the line for your students. So what you can do, click on the point and lock it. Lock. Students will not be able to make any changes in these points. They won't be able to change the line. Look, they cannot do anything now. One more thing they can do, you can also change the color. Let's make it orange. Right? Now you are giving an opportunity to your students what they can do from these tools available, right? So let's say you have asked this question, draw a perpendicular bisector of the given line. So maybe they can use the arc system or the angle or the simple lines or different features which are available. I know students will not be able to use comfortably these things. So don't allow them that. Better you ask them to use these tools only. You can hide these tools as well. Look, that's how students will see. You have to ask your students to click there. Okay, so I think arc method can be used. So look, the instructions are there. Choose a point to start, choose a point in the middle, choose a point at the end, right? So let's say I'm gonna start from here, and this is the middle part. Look at the arc, right? So the same way I can use this, this, and this. You can also, what you can do, let me just, they can also redo it. So they can delete if they want, whatever they have done. And if they did some mistakes, don't worry, ask them to go to select, pick that thing and delete. They can always delete. They can change the points wherever they want. Look, so let's use the arc again. And here I'm using, right? Yeah, okay. The thing is here, because we are not using the proper compass system here, right? So the problem can be solved using the circle. Ask them to draw the circle, because here we have angle tool, but we don't have the compass tool. So to solve that problem, what you can ask them to use the circle. So let's find out the middle point and then find out the circle which is passing through both lines, right? Look, I just selected a random point in the middle and I got it here. Let's say by mistake they just dropped here. Don't worry. Ask them to go select, change the point, right? Like this, and then they can change the other point also. So this way they can get it. And then they can use perpendicular tool also. So choose a line to set the slope, done, and the point. Look, so the bisector is done. Of course, there are different methods which you can use. That depends on the instructions, how you want to give them. So that's how you can use the geometry tool. But let's use in another question, the geometry tool, where we can ask a question using the math input box or the table. This time I'm going to use table, because table is really helpful. Because in simple codes, you can ask multiple questions and you can check multiple questions at the same time. I hope you remember this part. Look, I have asked how many questions? 1, 2, 3, 4 questions, and I can check, I can allocate marks to everything, and I can give them feedback. I think this is really cool thing here. So let me just show you what I did here. I'll just copy from this and I'll just use in my activity. Then I'll show you how we can use the geometrical part. Let me show you what I have used here. I have used the note to enter the equation. Then I'm using the table just to write the instructions for the students. What are my questions? And I created one more column so that I can give them feedback. And then I'm using a button to check the answers, whether they are correct or not. It's not required really, but just in case if you want. Now, where is the coding part? Here. Go here. Look, don't worry. It's very simple. Let me just help you out. Let me delete this and show you what I have done. Look, I'm using the same thing, correct 4. Table 4 is my label. As in the previous question, we did question number 1. Here I gave the label as table number 4. That's why I'm using table 4. So table 4 dot. Now it is a cell of the table. So cell numerical value, okay, equals to 7. Let me just type it again for you guys. Let me just hide that as well. Now let me type here again. Okay, let me increase the window so that you guys can see this, what I'm doing. Look, correct, as I said before, if you type correct, so what are the conditions to check? I have decided the answers. For first cell, it is 7. For second cell, the answer is 4. The third cell, the answer is 83, right? So that's what I'm using here. So I'm using table. Look, as soon as I started typing table, it appears table number 4 dot. Now here you will not see those options which you saw earlier. Now you have other options which are cell numeric value or column numerical value or cell content. So I'm going to choose the second option here because I'm going to enter a numerical value. Which cell? You have to give the address. So it was 1, 2 means first row, second column. The answer is 7. Let me show you how it's going to work. Preview. Look, this is my first row and this is my second column. I'm going to enter 7 here. Look, a tick button appeared immediately. If you write 5, the wrong answer is there. But I want to ask multiple questions, right? So that's why I'm going to use and because this whole page is not correct only based on one cell. It is correct when all the answers are correct. So I'm going to repeat the same thing. Table 4 dot cell numerical value. I have to enter the column and row. So the row is second, column is second as well. The answer is 4. Same way you can type and table number 4 dot cell numerical value 3, 2 equals 83. Don't write. Okay. In the last one, we had expression. You remember? The last question is about the nth term. So here, students are supposed to write expression. So that's why I'm going to use and table 4 dot. Now here, I'm not using numerical value because n is a variable which is defined by me only. It's not defined by the Desmos, right? So I'm going to use cell content. Content means anything, any expression like a word format. Which one it is? 4, 2 equals to, what is the expression? Whenever it is a word, because it's not a number, so I'm going to use the double quotation here and enter the that expression in this format. Let's say the answer is 3 plus 4n, right? Or I think the answer format what we entered initially, it was 7 plus n minus 1 times 4. I think this was the answer. So let's answer these questions and see is it working or not. 7. Look, even though the answer is correct, but still we are getting wrong. Common difference was 4. 20th term was 83. And the last answer was 7 plus n minus 1 times 4. Right? Now it's wrong. It's not correct here because it is calculating a numerical value here, which is not matching what we entered initially. That's why we encourage either you use a simpler version, let's say the simple version 4n plus 3, so that there is no calculation involved. Let's try now. 7, 4, 83, 4 plus 3 and I entered. 3 plus. Still we are getting wrong here. Okay, I got it. Why it is wrong? Because it is not recognizing n as a variable. So that's why it's not considering that. So let's just remove it. That's why I have added this thing. There are so many things I have added here, but this is just for the feedback. Look at the feedback what I'm giving. If you are interested, then only I will show. Okay, this was wrong. I have entered this. Let me just hide this. And let me hide this one and this one. Look, now everything will work fine because I have added this extra stuff. I know it's, let me show you one by one what I'm doing here. I want to give the feedback. So the feedback is when the cell content in the first row, third column, okay, when the 1 and 2 is 7 and the button 4 is counted. Let's say if you press the button to check the answer, then only it is correct. It will show the correct. Otherwise, it will show check again. And if I show you the everything what I have entered here, it's very similar. 1, 3 changed to 2 and 3 now. And the answer changed from 7 to 4. And the button is got pressed. So this is the command for the button. If you don't want to check with the button, you just delete it. Don't write this part. Just delete this. You will be able to see that. Let me show you. Here, 7. Look, immediately you get the message correct. But if you add a button option, then you have to wait when you are going to enter the button. Look, if I enter 7, I don't get any feedback because I didn't press the button. Look, correct. Others are not entered yet. That's why it says check again, check again, check again. So that's how it works to give the feedback. Giving feedback is really, really easy. Let me create something simple for you because I know it was complicated. I'm going to create a table, right? Let's say this is the question and this is the answer. I know time is going away. I'm just writing this 3 plus 2, 4 plus 8. Let's say students are going to enter the answers only. What is 3 plus 2? What is 4 plus 8? Now I want to give the label here. Let's say question 2. Go to this computation layer and define correct, right? Question 4 dot. Question 2, not question. Dot cell numerical value of 1, 2 is equals to, I think it was 7 if I'm not wrong. And same thing you have to do. Question 2 dot cell numerical value, I think it was 2, 2 equals to 12. That's it. Sorry, let me change the question because I have said